Okay, so we are now live, and I thought for tonight I would talk a little bit about my thinking as of late, and I tweeted it out earlier that I had filed because I had moved, so I had to file uh, new voter registration regardless. But when I sent for it, and it actually arrived pretty promptly, like 2 days later, I looked at it and I said to myself, am I going to swap parties, or am I going to become independent? In New York, it's more advantageous for you as a voter to become part of one of the main two parties, and that's just because with our system, in order to vote in the primaries, you have to be a member of the party itself. So if you want to have a say in the party's internal debate for who's put forward, you have to be a member of the party and registered as that member in order to vote for said people. And with the Democrats, what eventually sent me over the edge, and actually before I get to it, I'll pour one out, and I'll dedicate this beer to my lawn, which is now freshly mowed. I dedicate this alcoholic beverage, this Irish ale, to the $10,100 check that my mortgage company wrote to the government for the taxes on my property that were not back taxes. They were just taxes. I buy a house. I owe the mortgage company for the next 30 years. I owe the state for the next, so long as I own the property. But just out of the gate, someone brought that up earlier on Twitter. Let me give you a shout out. Let me go find that tweet. I retweeted it. El Presidente says, I guess it was a matter of time the moment you started looking at property tax rates. Yeah. If you want to see what radicalized me, like that, the Christchurch shooter, I shouldn't say even the word because now the stream's already been taken down or censored. But he had France. I had buying a house. That's what radicalized me, was having the mortgage company be like, yeah, don't worry, we added the $10,000 check that we just emailed or sent out. We just sent out to the government. We added that onto your mortgage. Don't worry, we added it into your payments already. And I'm just sitting there like, yo, are you fucking kidding me? What was the $10,000 even for? Was it the school tax? Was there back taxes that I'm paying for some reason that the estate didn't? Like, what is it? Is it the water bill that there was a bill for, like a back payment or something? What is it? And it's like, no, it's just taxes. It's like, what the fuck? Like, I just bought this goddamn place. This house isn't even worth $200,000. I mean, it will be if I fix it up more. I mean, it's pretty decent now. It's right around the corner from being worth 200 grand, but it's not even $200,000. What the hell is $10,000 in taxes going to? What is it even for? It was never even explained to me. It's just a dumb moment. Like, oh, come on. It's the government. It's just a black hole that you send money to. It's like, well, that's fucking great. It's not even, like, it wasn't even the property taxes as far as I could tell. It may have been that, but it was never explained to me what it was for. It was just like, don't worry, we added it into your mortgage payments. It's like, oh, great, thanks. I'm glad. So, yeah, despite the meme of that, I can tell you that becoming a homeowner has red-pilled me, so to say, on taxes, where it's like, out of everything that you have to pay for yourself, and I'm fine with paying for utilities and all the things that I use, although, if you if you drink this beer that I just bought, if you drink a beer, obviously you're going to run out and you got to go pay for it. So I totally understand having to buy things. It's not new to me. It's not a new concept. I've been buying myself things since I was, in essence, 14, 13, right around then, where I just started buying. I would say to my parents, don't buy me any gifts. Just give me money. If you're going to give me anything, just give me money. Don't buy me anything. Just give me money if you're going to give me money. Otherwise, I earned it by doing chores and that. And eventually, at the age of 15, I got a job, and since then, I've been employed. But to me, it's a difference of paying for, in essence, like things that can't even be explained and things that I actually use. But the thing is that I know that when I have to pay my taxes, they're going to go for, the roads and, and definitely I'll pay for clearing snow. I will pay the government my pound of flesh to clear the goddamn snow, which they can't contract out. Not always, but some of the time. And that's fine. But I'll tell you what, I'll pay for that. But it's the other stuff that it's just, to me, the problem is, though, right? Every time you see some bullshit diversity program from your local community, and I've seen this all the time, especially even with my city, my town, my county, even though it's a red county, I still see diversity program bullshit, especially for women, all the time. And it's like, you got to realize that once you become a property owner, that you're paying for 100% of that. You are paying for all that shit. And I would say that one of the things that radicalized me to switch parties is to minimize autism and activism in government as much as possible. As clear the roads, pave the roads, all that good shit that we all need, especially in areas that have to deal with snow. Salt the roads. That's another big one that down south they don't understand. They don't understand how to salt roads down there. So whenever you have a freaking microcentimeter of snow, like people are like, their cars are on the highway, ice skating down, spinning around, crashing into one another, and there's a 80 car pileup when there's just a hint of snow hits the ground. Around here, I'm glad we don't have those problems because the area, the county, the cities are all pretty proactive in salting and clearing snow, even though when it's not always necessary, they still clear the roads. So I'm grateful for that. But it's diversity programs and activism, and I don't even care what it is, whether it's pro-choice activism, pro-female activism, or let's say pro-life activism or whatever else. Like, I don't want any of that shit having to come out of my taxes. And it seems as though that honestly, those in government are just desperately trying to find something to spend all our money on. Someone is just desperately trying, people in government, they're desperately trying to, look for something to spend our money on. And I can't take it. Can't stand it. I'm not going full taxation as theft. Dale Ritter says, I just got to work the graveyard shift. You need to stream early, bro. Sorry, I got home and I had to mow my lawn. And I don't really have a lot of time tonight anyways. Sorry. Just try to listen at work if you can. What was the other thing that I was going to say that radicalized me? The fact that the left is just trash and that has become the entirety of the Democratic Party. Is there anyone in the Democratic Party that isn't kissing ass as it relates to like race identitarians and gender identitarians and activist groups that are disgusting, that are just so repulsive that you can't imagine anyone would want their name associated with them, and these people are locking arms with these people? Yeah, that is correct. I switched party. Well, I came home first. Then, I already actually checked the box when I was working. Came home, mailed it out, and then I mowed my lawn. So yes. And that's why I named this. I wasn't sure what I wanted to name this. I had to come up with something. So oh God, what was the, let me, why is Google being something? Okay, there we go. Oppenheimer. I forgot who it was. So I quoted Oppenheimer in saying, I am become boomer mower of lawns. And it's because that, that's exactly what I did today. Is I worked all fucking day, got home, mowed my lawn, and now I'm doing this. I ate dinner in between, but still. Overseer USA said it correctly. Dems in 2019 race ideology is good unless you're white. And that is correct. It's a combination of things. This has been a long time coming. I had a couple leftists on Twitter try to disavow me, basically say that, like, oh, I always knew it, Louis. I always knew you were a right winger, blah, blah, blah. I had a couple hate followers say that, and I think one of them unfollowed me, even though it's funny because you give me shit for that, but it's like earlier in the day, I was like, what did I say? Like, if you don't think smirking is hatred, what did I say? Hold on, let me see what I said this morning. Smirking is violence. Unfollow if you disagree. Like, you got to understand, when it comes to Twitter now, I don't give a shit. I do not give a shit. Twitter is a freaking addiction. It is the crack of social media, and if I get banned off of it, fine. I'm going to lose access to news that I find important, but I really don't care anymore. I figured that at this point, I don't know if I ever said that I was a right winger, but rednecks made me lose faith. I was a conservative at one point, like right at the tail end of high school, early college. I was a conservative, and it was because like I was at the time like not extremely religious, but I was probably the most religious that I had ever been in my life. And I figured that was a good way to stand. But I would say that I deconverted from Christianity pretty quickly. And I think that that's kind of what sent me to the left. And you got to remember that at the time, you had people that were ostensibly on the left, or at least spoke in a way that was very much, welcomed on the left at the time, like Christopher Hitchens. Christopher Hitchens, back in the day, even though he had a kind of neocon bent to some degree, I think he probably was one of the biggest influencers that I had, in early adulthood. And I can say that was he's probably one of the figures that sent me more to the left, and that, other people basically picked up after that to influence me. But I can say that, while some of my, beliefs have stayed the same, and some have this entire time, I've always been a nationalist. That hasn't changed. I've grown incredibly tired of trying to fight against people on the left that I just see myself having less and less in common with every day. Now, one of the things I can't stand is that people who are on the left, who self-identify as being on the left, they seem to want nothing more than for someone like me to just leave. They don't want to win me over. They don't want to argue with me. They don't want to convince me of anything. They just want me to go away. They just want me to shut up. And there's people that I can name that I don't need to, that I'm no longer associated with. You can think of who they are if you listen to me in the past. They're on the left, and they don't give a damn about trying to convince me of anything. Like, they just want me as a part of their clique, and because I'm not, that's it. And it's like, well, because you're not convincing me of anything, like, all I have left are people on the right, like Sargon, who is ostensibly on the right now, even though he seemingly contradicts himself with stupid things like banning plastic bags and nonsense like that, just because he talked to some fucking communist. I saw a video earlier today from, who was it? 1791? Is it? Let me get the name of the channel right, because I don't embarrass myself and I don't. Hold on. Where is it? It was about Dave Rubin, and 1791. They did a kind of a hit piece on David Rubin earlier today that I thought was not great, but they did a good video on Soph called The Soph Shut Down. And I thought that was a good video. And I'll talk about it, I think, in the future. I got a few videos that I have to get to. But I'm not really familiar with the guys behind the channel, but I do like the channel. And what was I going to say? God damn, I don't remember why I brought them up. Well, I guess the overall point is that, like, when all you have are people on the right. Oh, okay, now I remember. In the video where they talk about Dave Rubin, they talk about Sargon campaigning, and Sargon, he's been going through hell, man. He's been in the trenches. Like, in the last several days, he's been attacked. He's had several milkshakes thrown on him. And I mean, like, he's actually been physically attacked. Other than that, he's had some crazy communists try to fucking pour a bag of horse shit all over him. Like, he has just been abused and attacked this entire time and defamed in the media, to where now he might have to potentially file a lawsuit against whoever it was, the Daily Mail or somebody, for defaming him, literally, actionably defaming him. You know, he's been through the fucking ringer. And the thing is that who on the left is doing that? Who on the left is actually standing for anything that isn't the most convenient, self-aggrandizing horseshit imaginable? Who on the left is doing anything brave? You know, except for people like the exceptions you could make are like burnout, nihilists like Gavin Long, the TYT shooter who assassinated some cops. Like, that's the cream of the crop on the left right now in terms of action. Everyone else is freaking just glomming on to corporations and trying to use the government to enforce their will and all these terrible things that just showcase them as being the ideological hegemon, the political hegemon of the country. People can talk about, Orange Man bad and all this sort of stuff. Like Trump was talking about earlier, like, once again, he's had to eat shit on the wall. He's embarrassed himself and reneged on the wall again. And what does that show you? What does that show you when Donald Trump, yet again, despite all the things that he's done, he's had to eat shit yet again on the wall? So I really have to say that maybe I'm just a contrarian. Maybe I'm someone that just wants to be the hipster that's not part of the establishment. But it seems as though that in my view now, the conservatives, the right, are more palatable to assisting me in things that I desire than the left is, because the left in no way seems to be in my interest, and the left in many ways seems to be losing its freaking mind even more than already. The other day, I had a bunch of people tweet this at me, and I haven't, you know what? You want to go through the video right now? A bunch of people, I had people email me about this. The AFL-CIO communist guy. Did you guys see that? Did you guys see that AFL-CIO? The account tweeted out some communist. Did anyone see that? A bunch of people sent that to me. Do you want me to cover that video right now as like a hallmark of why I'm just done with the Democrats? I'm done with the left. Do you guys want to watch that? No. That's funny. That's funny. It just like, it was like one of the first responses. No. All right. I see a lot of guesses. But it's like the left is being taken over by literal communists. The left is being taken over by communists, and they just won't stop. They won't stop. They don't seem to actually have any means by which to resist the influence of the far left. And it's like, well, then I'm done. You know, what the fuck is the point of this anymore if you guys are just going to continuously cater to the far left when they are directly opposed to me? Where is that video? Here it is. It's like hashtag 1U. It's got like a bet here. I'll show it. Let me get this on screen. Let's see here. Hopefully I don't blast your eardrums off when I play this. But yeah, it's honestly just shit like this. It's like, what am I supposed to do? And it's muted right now. So just give me a second. It auto plays. Let me get this linked so I don't forget. But yeah, it's just this kind of shit. I'm so sick of it. I'm so tired. It's just a never ending. It is the impossible Sisyphean task of rolling the ball up the hill, of getting the left to abandon all the shit that I hate about them. It's that. It's like, I don't think there's any way to stop them anymore. They're just going to have to crash out. So yeah, let's watch this. So I just want to remind you that the AFL-CIO, I think it is the biggest union in the United States. I believe it is the biggest union in the United States. And let me check that really quick. Let me check what the largest union is. Okay, no, it's a fucking teachers union. Teamsters is actually bigger than AFL-CIO. Where is the AFL-CIO in here? Fuck me. Like, they're all public unions. It's hilarious. NEA, which is the teachers union, SCIU, which is union hospitality workers. AFSCME, which is public sector union. Teamsters, which is truckers. AFT, which is teachers. USW, which is steelworkers. IEBW, which is electrical workers. IM, machinists. UA, which is auto workers. Where the fuck is the AFL-CIO? I know it's on here. I guess I'm wrong then. I thought it was one of the biggest unions in the country, but I don't even see it on the list. Hold on, let me. Yeah, it's not even on this list. I guess I'm wrong. Oh, hold on. Oh, I'm sorry. Here I am acting like an idiot. It is. Okay, the AFL-CIO is the biggest union in the country. Why isn't it on the list? Why don't you just have it on the list, fucking Wikipedia? Jesus Christ. I'm sitting here like, where is it on the list? I'm looking like an asshole here. It's like right below it. The American Federation of Labor Congress and of Industrial Organizations is the leading confederation of U.S. trade unions. Why isn't it on the list then? Fucking assholes. Anyways. So let's play this. Okay, yeah. So let's play. So again, this is from as Wikipedia stated, the greatest union in the United States in terms of mass. This is the largest one. This is one of the most influential unions in the country, period. Trumpka, who's the leader of it, met Trump in the White House to talk about shit. So again, he's not like sitting on a panel. He's meeting with the president, the head of this organization. So you ready?
When people today think of class in the United States, they typically envision a division based on income levels: lower class, middle class, and upper class. However, this analysis is largely incorrect.
So we got to stop here. The myth of middle class. So I'm middle class. My parents are now middle class, although they're on the lower end of it, and I guess I am too. But if I get married at some point and I have a wife who makes a decent amount of money, or if I if I get a better fucking job, honestly, I will be solidly middle class. I'm in my late 20s. I own my own home. I pay for everything myself. If I wanted to, I could go buy a new car tomorrow. It'd be financed, but I'd still have to put several $1,000s down, and I could do that tomorrow. I have money in my savings, even with a new house, and having to buy all the furniture and shit. I am become middle class. So when you say the myth of the middle class, it's like, okay, well, we already got a problem here because there is a middle class. There is a middle class. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? But if you're a communist, then you need the dichotomy. You need the proletariat bourgeoisie. And I'm sorry there, Mr. Hipster speaker with a deeper voice than I actually have, just to make myself sound tougher and more articulate. You're probably a middle-class twat. And if you're not, if you're actually some kind of actual worker, a blue-collar worker, you've been radicalized by freaking ideologues that have been around you.
Class is actually determined by a person's relationship to or ownership of the means of production.
No, you fucking, you walking, talking stereotype. This is not the goddamn 19th century. Okay? You don't have to be if you don't own a factory, it doesn't mean that you're part of the freaking proletariat. Okay? Many people in this country, I'm not even sure what the percentage is, but it is a large percentage of the country. They are middle class or up. Most people are, in fact, somewhere near the middle class, and they don't own factories. They don't own the means of production. And even people who own businesses, like I know a woman from Buffalo through a professor. Okay. She's a multi-millionaire, owns 5 businesses that generate tens of millions for her. I don't know if it's annually, but they've made her a lot of goddamn money. She's the richest person I know. And I know a couple rich people, actually a few rich people. Even while owning those businesses, she doesn't own things that produce things. She owns a restaurant. She owns a jewelry store. She owns a fashion store. And she owns like 2 other places as well. She doesn't own any business that actually produces something. By your definition, she is proletariat because she doesn't own a plant that is producing something. This is completely nonsensical. I know another woman who's the head of a company. She's the head of a company, but she doesn't actually own it. She just runs it. She's worth tens and tens of millions of dollars. Tens of millions of dollars because she's run this company, a big company that is an actual producer of abrasives. She's incredibly rich. She's a manager. She's a senior manager. She's not really, the owner. She has 2 people above her that actually own the plant. She's just an administrator. She's richer than I could ever imagine myself being. Even, according to your definition, she's with me, and I don't agree. She's part of a class of person that is above me. It doesn't mean that I can't speak to her as that, but she is a professional senior manager at a large abrasives corporation. That's an actual plant. We don't really have much in common outside of maybe we're both Republicans at this point now. That's probably what we have in common. She probably has problems with regulation and other such things and taxes because she's wealthy. What is it? Okay. According to you, she and my father are equal, despite the fact that she's probably a Republican. My father's a Union Democrat. He has been for his entire life, as far as I'm aware. He's a blue-collar worker, has been up until he was injured on the job, and then became an inspector. You think that my father is the same as her simply because we don't own a factory? That is completely ridiculous. This is the thinking of a 19th century Marxist.
The means of production being a factory, a plantation.
Who owns a fucking plantation? Who owns a fucking plantation? I know people that own farms. Who owns a fucking plantation? What is this shit? And besides which, with the thing about, you know, if you own a farm, what in the world would you have in common with some like yuppie urbanite? Or a factory owner? What would you have in common with them? This is, like, again, this is literally something out of the 19th century. And a skyscraper, you own a building? Does that mean landlords are part of the bourgeoisie? Like, also, who owns a skyscraper? I know multimillionaires that don't even own skyscrapers. Like, corporations own skyscrapers. People really don't. It's only like inherited wealth, you know, Rockefellers that own skyscrapers. Who owns skyscrapers that aren't like sheiks and Donald Trump and like people who inherited tens and tens of millions of dollars from several generations of wealth? Who in the world? It's just, I can't believe that they sent this out. They thought that this was a serious commentary on fucking class in America from some Marxist who still thinks it's freaking like 1890. You know, Jesus Christ, bro. You know, I get that you didn't like one of the villain characters in Red Dead Redemption 2, but I'm sorry, that was a long time ago. You should update your politics to reflect the time as it is now.
The skyscraper, something that generates money and requires workers. Most people, like 90%.
So is that every business? Businesses generate money. Is fucking Sargon, because he has employees, like 2 employees, does that make him part of the fucking bourgeoisie? Because he runs a YouTube channel that he doesn't even own the platform for. Is Sargon a class traitor now, Mr. Freaking, you know, I cut my hair to hide the fact that I'm prematurely balding and I have like the scruffiest freaking peach fuzz beard imaginable. This fucking wannabe neck beard. God, it's like, what definition is this?
Percent of us are working class and do not own the means of production. Damn. Instead, the vast majority of us have to find a buyer for the only commodity we have, which is our ability to perform labor.
Okay, so I'm following you so far. Okay, fine. You're right. To some degree. I mean, excluding entrepreneurship. So if we put aside the fact that if I wanted to, I could probably make some amount of money on YouTube. You know, there could be the possibility that I would have enough to support myself on YouTube. Or I could do something else that's entrepreneurial in my area. I can open up the 100,000th pizza place in my area. And I could probably make some decent pizza like all the rest of them. Except for in Rochester. I actually had a rant not too long ago, and I don't think I talked about it. Or I went to this pizza place in Rochester called like Pierre something, and it sold like these really, really big pieces of pizza. They were terrible. They're absolutely terrible. And it's like, man, this is literally quantity over quality as a pizza place, and it doesn't work. Congratulations, you sold me an incredibly large, crappy piece of pizza. And if you're from Western New York and you run a pizza place and your pizza's no good, you should move out of the fucking state. It's amazing to me how many places I've had pizza in this part of the state, and I've said, hey, this is actually pretty good pizza compared to, you know, generic corporate brand. Whereas, like, here you are, or here this place is in Rochester, that it's like, it's an established joint. The pizza sucks.
This is the working class. The job they perform is irrelevant. The unifying factor is that they sell their time and skills to members of the ownership class in return for the wages they need to live.
Well, I don't agree with the definition of ownership class. Like, I do think that there is a owner class, but I consider them to be investors. Those are who I consider to be the owner class, the investors. because they're the ones that have an incredible amount of power over the market. And while there are pernicious aspects to them, such as internationalism, that seems to be their utopian worldview for a huge percentage of them. And I know I'm speaking generally, but this seems to be reflective of reality. Investors typically are utopian internationalists. They're urbanites, and they don't really believe in borders, and they don't really care about nations. They see nations as generic platforms for the market. Like I said, I know I'm speaking generally, but that's my view of investors. Owners are completely different. It depends on the corporation, whether it's public or private. Like, for example, Sony as a corporation, where it's now based in the United States, it's headquartered, is not the same as Chick-fil-A, which is privately owned by conservative Christians, and so is Hobby Lobby. It's privately owned by conservative Christians. It's not the same as a publicly traded corporation that was formerly Japanese, but is now actually run based out of the United States. Not every corporation is the same, and not every business owner is the same, because not every business is the same. So I think that this is actually just, again, outmoded or inaccurate assessments of reality. So Keth just asked $1 million question. Kethraga actually asked $1 million question. I have a question. Why would this union, an organization that already has problems being called communist by people on the right traditionally, volunteer this PR coup to their opponents? Yes, this is my question. I think it honestly is just incompetent leadership at the top. Like, Trumpka does not strike me as competent in terms of his leadership of the union itself. Even, I forget the name of the guy that runs the IBEW, and I have some affiliation with the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. But it's like, even the guy there, he seems like a normie, and he is a boomer who is like a man's man in every way, but he still panders to like race politics through the union. He panders to race politics, and he especially panders to gender politics, when it's like, yo, I don't even want to say, I don't want to give my connection because it might be giving away too much information, but I know someone that trains apprentices to the union. And, all of them, outside of an extremely rare exception, they are men. And it's majority white, but there's also black, Hispanic, and the rest that are training to become union electricians. But it's 99% men doing the job and joining the union. So when you're pandering as the head of the union to women, it's like, yo, you're the head of a union where the majority of the members are administrators. They're secretaries that work for the union. It's not actual members. And by all means, like, I can understand if you're a woman on the job and you're getting shit and you're getting harassed or something like that because you're around a bunch of, working class men, some of whom are, might be ex-jocks and that sort of thing. So they're boisterous and aggressive. You might have problems, but because you're in a male-dominated industry and field, there's no reason to pander in public relations to women, because I'm sorry, but being an electrician is incredibly physical. And you have a decently high chance of getting injured at some point, especially if you're, working a lot. It's not a field that's cut out for a lot of women. There are some women that can competently do construction, electrical work and the rest of it, but it's not typical for women, and it's not a field really built for women because it's incredibly physical, and it's also technical and boring as well, which is also, in my opinion, not really suited for women. Normally, anyways. But and so with that, it's like, why do you create propaganda geared towards women when you are a man's man? Like, the head of the union is like a total bro. He's like a boomer bro. Like, he goes on motorcycle runs with his members, the members of the union. Like, he's a freaking boisterous, shit talking, loudmouth. Like, he's a man's man. And it's like, meanwhile, you have the PR arm of your union just pumping out fucking leftist propaganda, when it's like, that's not who. And by the way, the unions now are having to confront the fact, especially all the labor unions. I don't mean the commie teachers unions. I mean the labor unions. They're having to confront the fact that the majority of their members now are voting Trump. They're voting Republican and they're endorsing Democrats. And it's like, I'm sorry, like, I understand that maybe some, and I'm sure some Democratic politicians might actually offer more for the union in terms of policy than the Republicans. But if the majority of your members are actually voting Republican, you're facing a crisis within the actual identity of your union, and you actually have to reflect the will of your union members to some degree. Like, when you don't do that, all you're doing is giving total ammunition to the right to say, and conservatives to say, philosophic conservatives to say, that unions are just inherently a bad idea, and you shouldn't join them. Because it's just going to be party bosses dominating over you, and they'll never allow you to actually have a say, and they're going to misuse your dues. I mean, this kind of shit shows you, this propaganda right here is just evidence to say that the AFL-CIO is wasting their own money on propaganda like this that I could debunk as just a layman. I'm not an economist. I'm not a professional pundit for the Republican Party. I'm not an anti-trade unionist or anti-union activist. I'm on your side, and I'm sitting here debunking your crappy propaganda that you paid member money for. Why on earth would you be doing this if it weren't for the fact that you have commies in your organization that are likely female that you need to get out? You need to kick them out. You know, this is what happened in the unions back in the 50s and 60s. They kicked out all the communists. You know, they literally, I forget what it's called, where it's basically you take somebody's membership card of the union and burn it. Like, you burn their membership card and you expel them from the union. It was called something. But this happened back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, was all the unions across the United States, you know, even though some did get co-opted, like the Teamsters, by the mob, they just started kicking out all the anarchists, communists, socialists. They just started kicking them all out because they were disadvantageous for the unions. And the unions at the time had incredible strength. So you're doing damage to your own party. And I agree here with Keth that, you know, the right, or I don't want to say it like that, philosophical conservatives and capitalists that view the unions as bad, you're not actually defending collective bargaining with what you're doing here. You're, in fact, giving ammunition to them to discredit you. And tying this to the, you know, back to the point of this stream, this is the kind of shit that has expelled me from the left, where it's like, I'm sorry, I can't be a part of this. This person is a communist. This person is, in fact, a communist. And this is the kind of person you need to be throwing out of your union because they discredit you. You shouldn't be promoting this person. You should be removing them from the union because they damage your public image as not being a communist organization. And I don't think the AFL-CIO is a communist organization. But this is the kind of rhetoric and the kind of propaganda that's going to make just the case for the right to say, hey, look at this communist union. I mean, if you want any greater advocates to showcase why there should be no public sector unions, go talk to some public sector unions, union members, union advocates, union activists, especially teachers' unions. They're fucking foaming at the mouth communists. So many of them. It's insane how many fucking people, activists on the street, like the Yvette Larka, whatever the fuck her name is, that Sargon had a run-in with. She's a teacher. She's a member of the union. She's just another communist, you know? Like, teachers' unions are awful. But anyways, someone asked me a while ago, like, what if I were to make a compromise on unions, what would it be? It would be, in essence, that with unions, they can't force dues upon members, but you can't force them to represent every worker. So I would say that unions, if I were to make a compromise, it would be based on a voluntary basis, that you can join the union, and the union can represent your interests with management, and you pay the dues for expressly that reason. But that if someone doesn't want to join the union, they don't have to, but the union doesn't have to represent them. And in essence, that means if the union negotiates for a contract The guy that's not part of it doesn't qualify. He gets paid whatever he gets paid. That would be the compromise I would make, because I don't think that I don't think it's right to force somebody into a union if they don't want to join. I don't think that's morally right, because it's freedom of association. And like I said, I still stand by collective bargaining, but I don't think it is right, morally speaking, to force someone within an association and pay for it that they don't want to be a part of. However, I do not agree with the opposite, which is forcing the union to associate with people that don't pay dues. To me, that is the legal loophole for giving someone free services, and they're not paying for services rendered. And I find that to be morally reprehensible as well. I don't agree with that. So yeah, you guys can mull on that in the comment section.
Viewing class in its proper context allows us to present the argument that the middle class, frequently alluded to in conventional media and politics, is a fiction.
Bro, I am part of the middle class. Okay, I want people in the chat right now. Press M if you are a part of the middle class. If you are actually secure enough financially that you are part of the middle class. So I'm gonna put press M in the chat. Press M in the chat if you are actually middle class, and I want to see. Lower middle class, is that what LM means? Nicola, what does N mean? Except for what I think it means. It better not mean what I think it means. So there's a decent amount of middle class, lower middle class, middle class. Some R's and I's and G's and E's. Oh man. Yeah, so I saw a decent amount of M's. Well, yeah, middle class is 45 to 60K a year. I would say so, because that's right around what I'm making as well. So yeah, I would say that we're probably lower middle class, but it's still middle class. Okay. You know what's amazing to me is that I have a bunch of people, and this is true. I have a bunch of people that follow me who are like techies, who like work as engineers or programs or whatever. They're making like $200,000 a year. And I got some guy, I don't even really want to talk about it too much, but I got a guy on Subscribestar who's sending me a whole lot of money because he wants to support my channel and buy me some equipment that I won't speak to right now. I've talked about it in the past, but I won't speak too much about it right now because I don't want to brag or put someone into a position where they must do something in terms of generosity. I don't feel like doing that, but I got incredibly wealthy people that follow me and that support me. And I'm very, very grateful for that because they're always the ones that send me the most amount of money. But it's like I'm not envious of them. I don't see myself as like I don't know, like I don't see myself as basically I'm joined at the hip with them and they must share my interest and we're part of this collective. Like I'll just never understand this mindset. This isn't the 19th century anymore. What can I tell you? Like the United States has had a middle class for how long? I mean, like the 30s, the 40s onward, like after like 1945, that was when you had massive suburban construction. So let's say 1945. Let me get a calculator out because I'm bad at math. So let's see, 2019 minus 1945, which was really when you saw a huge expansion of suburbia. 74 years. 74 years we have had a demonstrable middle class. 74 years. And I'm not saying that like it was a huge percent of the population, right after the freaking Great Depression. But I am saying, My grandfather got back from the war, worked 50 years in a plant, built his own house, and owned a bunch of land, owned a new car all the time, had a very comfortable life, left savings and bonds behind for his family and that. My grandfather was probably middle class by today's estimation. He didn't live large, he didn't own like a mansion like there are some around here, but it's like he was probably at that time middle class. So we're talking 70 odd years of that status being demonstrable in the United States. You know what? Let me turn it over to the super chats. This is boring. I hate this shit. This is boring as fuck. Big Brother gave me $1. The guest said, Louis, I got banned on Twitter for arguing with feminists. Should I stick with Gab and Minds or make another Twitter? It's up to you, guest. I can't really tell you what to do. I don't take Twitter at all seriously now. I just freaking screw around on there now, and I expect to be banned at some point. I just don't really care. Dale says, I just got to working the graveyard shift. Thanks for listening, Dale. Thanks for the support. Will M says, someone needs to pay for Planned Parenthood, Louis. And I'm sorry, Will. We're going to have to. I honestly have to say that, even ask me a year ago, I think I might have said it a year ago. I don't really understand why we're paying for Planned Parenthood. It is just a Democratic proxy group. I really got to fault the Republicans. It's like you had ample opportunity to stop that funding when you controlled all three, executive and House and Senate. You had every chance to get rid of the funding for that, and you totally fell on your face. Like, I know the thing is now I'm a party member as of now, so I have the right to complain. And if I have a chance to speak with my my congressman who's been hiding in a bunker ever since he got indicted on fraud charges or whatever, insider trading. He's been in a bunker ever since. But that would be the question I'd have for him, is that, and he's more of a nationalist than many of the others are, but it's like, you had every opportunity to stop the funding for this organization that is just actively promoting your opponents. Why the hell did you not stop the funding for this organization outside of abortions and all the rest of it? Why? It's amazing to me that it's still going on. I honestly have to say that it's either Republican weakness, which might be the best of, or just we need an opponent. We need something to campaign against. We need something to show ourselves as being different than. That is the conspiracist in me, is that it's just the Republicans just trying to find something to point to that's not them, so they can claim they're opposing something. Keth says, okay, Louis, now that you've joined the meme jihad, how about we go reforming the American right? Sure, absolutely. I'm all on board for reforming the American right. We need less conservatives, less Mitt Romneys and George Bushes, and we need more Tucker Carlsons and Trumps and all the rest. I mean, fault Trump in every way you can, but at least he's a nationalist. At least you can say that. At least he's a nationalist. Unlike so many others that are just internationalist corporate cucks, that I am amazed that they continue to be reelected. I mean, I have to say that I guess with John McCain's district, it's not that big of a surprise that fucking Mitt Romney takes his seat. But it's like, I can't imagine what kind of, the Republican Party is a big tent party. It really is. But I think it's time for the members of the party that aren't total freaking corporate cuckolds to kick out the Mitt Romneys. And I see that as a pretty popular sentiment. Who exactly at this point on the right is popular that is still like your Mitt Romney style Republican, like your neocon? Who is a popular neocon still? Who? I mean, I think the best you're going to get in terms of popularity is some boomer radio host I've never heard of, or like Ben Shapiro or something, which, with Ben Shapiro, I think he's kind of a mixed bag, honestly. Abaddon says America needs Bolsonaro-like figures. Trump only goes so far. But I will say Bolsonaro is definitely, he is not Trump. Fucking Bolsonaro was like I don't know if it's necessarily, I saw conflicting stories about it, but Bolsonaro, like the minute he got elected, there's this huge tantrum by the left in Brazil, and then there was like raids that were done on the universities. And I was just laughing my ass off. I was like, holy shit. They ain't fucking around in Brazil, man. But yeah, I have to say that there's many aspects to Bolsonaro that I enjoy. I can't speak to everything that he's doing. But yeah, I really like, if you look at people on the right, like Max Boot and a few other people that Ben Shapiro retweets all the time on Twitter. What's the name of that guy that totally like went off the rails? Who owned that conservative magazine that folded? Someone in the chat remind me. He's like a well-known neocon. He owned some right-wing outlet that just folded recently. Somebody in the chat remind me what his name is real quick. I'm sure somebody knows who I'm talking about. He's not Goldberg. Goldberg is the guy that Bill Kristol. That's it. Bill Kristol. Who the fuck likes Bill Kristol? Who's on the right? What Republican, what conservative likes Bill Kristol unironically at this point? Who? I see universal hatred on the right of these people. I see universal hatred of neocons on the right. I mean, maybe I'm just not tuned into the right that actually likes the neocons and likes these people. I'm sure they do exist. Maybe they're like more Fox News, like upper middle class, globalist types. But I see so much like visceral hatred from the right against like the neocons and the rest of them. So the goal should be to kick out the neocons. Kick out the neocons, kick out the internationalists, kick out the thinly veiled identitarians. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, Ben Shapiro. If you don't agree with me, you're not an ethnic Jew, Shapiro. I can't fucking believe that he said that. That's the craziest fucking thing I ever heard with that. I would play it if it weren't for the fact that it was on the BBC and would get my channel censored, because the BBC is the only actual strike that's ever been put against my channel. They haven't taken it down either. It was from the BBC. And it was for like a 5-second video making fun of them. Ben Shapiro went on the BBC and he was talking to that conservative quote unquote guy on the BBC, older dude. And Ben goes like, I can't remember the exact here. Let me find that. Actually, it'd probably take me too long. It'd probably take me too long to find that video, but it is just the craziest fucking thing that I've ever heard him say. I'll look it up. Shapiro BBC interview. Let's see if I can find it. What's the name of this guy? Andrew?
Ben.
What's his name? Yeah, I don't know if I can play this. This is probably going to get my shit flagged. Andrew Neil. Yeah, that's right. He's claimed to be a conservative, but he doesn't really come across very much to me as a conservative, or maybe he's a media conservative. Let me try to find where he says that. I won't show it on screen, though, because it's going to get my shit flagged.
Public discourse when you call policies you disagree with brutal and bringing us back to the dark ages, sir.
By the way, I will speak in Ben Shapiro's defense for this interview. I thought this was a terrible interview. I actually agreed with Ben Shapiro at several points about the way that he was being treated and spoken to, and that he called this guy's conservatism into question. And I have to say that I agree to some degree with him, with Ben Shapiro. Like, there are, like, philosophically, and that's what Andrew Neil is supposed to be, is a philosophical conservative. I have to say that I have to side with Ben on this, that the way that he was framing many of the questions that he was posing or speaking to at, Ben Shapiro, I can understand how Ben Shapiro, made the mistake that he made. It was a miscommunication, and I have to put a decent amount of the onus on the speaker, Andrew Neil.
The point, I don't know where they've been described.
I think that people can describe me however they please. It's a
turn from the United States.
Find this.
But aren't you part of the problem with the way you go about your discourse, not the solution?
President Trump, a member of a party.
Let me find this.
Mr. Obama's State of the Union address in 2012 as
arch language in politics, which I'm generally wrong.
That's all. There are plenty of things that are bad and wrong, but it doesn't make them fascist. Yourself, I only mentioned that because put this in
Where is it?
context. The Jews who vote
Oh,
for
oh.
Obama.
Here we go. This is it here. Found it. Okay. Oh, BBC, please don't flag me.
And you're Jewish yourself. I only mentioned that because put this in context. The Jews who vote for Obama are, by and large, Jews in name only. Ginos, you call them.
My statement was based on the fact that Jews in the United States, as an ethnic group, are largely irreligious, which is true by every single poll. Jews are the most.
So just you put it in ethnic context. He said ethnic Jews.
Irreligious group in the United States. As an Orthodox Jew who actually takes Judaism seriously, the point that I am making is that most Jews who are ethnically Jewish are not religiously Jewish in any context.
No. The point you were making is that Jews who vote for Obama are Jews in name only.
I said that, yes, that is correct. That Jews who voted for Barack Obama, a progenitor of the Iran deal, a person who was cracking down on religious liberty, a person who spent much of his career as president of the United States attempting to deprive Israel of the necessities to defend itself.
Oh, man. Israel wasn't getting enough fucking money. Oh, Israel wasn't getting enough of my fucking money, Ben. God. It's just amazing to me that with Israel, it's like the entitlement. Like, I'll never understand the fucking entitlement. That as if the United States owes Israel fucking anything, Ben. God damn. It's the greatest independent nation in the world, except for the fact that it needs our money.
That people, Jews who voted for President Obama, by and large, cared about Judaism far less than they did about other priorities.
Did you say they should
Correct.
turn their badge in as a Jew?
Yes, I believe that if you are somebody who takes Judaism seriously, that comes along with ideological commitment.
I mean, I guess.
Also, I hope you're having fun, by the way, going through every old tweet that I've ever sent to try and do gotcha questions. But if you'd like to have a discussion about my general philosophy or things I've done in, say, I don't know, that's 2012, so it's now 2019. If you'd like to discuss something I've done in, say, like the past 5 years, why don't we do that? How about that?
Because your book is a criticism of how angry America is and how America has to do better. And I'm simply
I have an entire list
out,
on my website, sir. On my list, I have an entire website of dumb and bad things that I've said. I'm simply trying to point out
some of the things you've said that seem to me to help to stoke that anger. For example, you said Israelis like to build, Arabs like to bomb crap and live in open sewage.
I endorse that message, by the way. he can disavow himself all he wants. I endorse that message.
Well, as I say in an article entitled, here's a list of all the giant, bad, dumb things I've ever said.
Was that dumb?
Well, yes, that's a dumb tweet. And not only, but it is also important to mention that the next few tweets clarify that tweet is specifically referring to the Hamas leadership, which, by the way, a BBC I've seen is relatively reticent to condemn.
No, actually, it wasn't what you went on to do and say. You are correct about the slur on Arabs. It's not all Arabs that want to live in open sewage and blow things up.
By the way, to me, that the point of that tweet, in my view, is just probably him being miffed or being upset and just making a mean-spirited joke, because it is obviously a hyperbolic statement for the point, in my view, of humor, but it also includes a certain amount of truth. Like, of all the things to take fault with, of course, it's the media. What else would you expect them to take fault with other than, like, a completely, just a joke that I find funny because there's some truth to it?
Just Palestinians, you went on to say.
It's just the ones who take sides against Israel in the Israel-Palestinian
population is rotten to the core, you went on to say. Not Hamas, the Palestinian Arab population.
I say that by poll numbers, they elected Hamas. They educate their children in school that Israel should be obliterated, sir.
I guess.
If you want to read, honestly, this is a giant waste of time in the sense that the entire interview is designed for you to shout slogans or old things that I've said at me. I don't see how this forwards the debate. You talk about undermining the public discourse. It seems to me that simply going through and finding lone things that sound bad out of context and then hitting people with them is a way for you to make a quick buck on BBC off the fact that I'm popular and no one has ever heard of you.
So I think he fucked up there. I agree with him up until the end because I have actually heard of Andrew Neil. I just forgot his name offhand. And I'm an American who doesn't watch the BBC. The most interaction I've had with the BBC is them flagging my channel. But I agree with the first half of that, not the last half of it, or the last part of it. But yeah, I will say though, he fucked up with that ethnic Jew comment. That was pretty bad. But I will. But like I said though, I'll link this afterwards for you can go watch it yourself. But I agree with Ben for the most part with that interview. I think honestly that Andrew Neil was completely ridiculous, and it was mostly just gotcha bullshit. Back to the super chats. Tim Pool is from Rat Lad. It says Tim Pool needs to pop his collar. I agree. I don't know if that's possible. I like to see totally red pill Tim Pool. That'd be pretty crazy. I don't know how much money he'd make though. God Emperor says, "Hey dude, what do you mean hurling an object at someone who is your political opponent is a form of violence? It's just a joke, dude. Seriously, don't worry about the constant escalation of rhetoric and action. It's fine." Well, I have a video that's not going to come out today because I don't have the time, but I recorded the other day. It is already outdated, by the way, which is why I've been frustrated with publishing it. I recorded a commentary right after Sargon got hit with a milkshake the first time. He's been hit twice. No, 3 times. He's been hit 3 times with milkshakes. One time somebody missed. First time I think he got hit, then they missed, then he got hit, then he got hit. Actually, I think it might be 5 times. Might be 5 times at this point that he's been hit. Or, well, it's been thrown at him. The same place where he got hit again, where he had to like change his outfit, was where some dude tried to pour horse shit all over him. So it's already escalated. You know, with Tommy Robinson, it is confirmed. I've seen images. It is 100% confirmed that at that particular rally that Tommy Robinson was at, there were bricks thrown at him, and some guy who was caught throwing bricks, he got a caution, which is not like an arrest or whatever. It's basically like the police just tell you to stop doing something. A guy threw a brick at Tommy Robinson in front of police and got a caution. He was also a Muslim. So yeah, good point, God Emperor. But yeah, I'm going to work on getting that up, but I'm already outdated, and it's frustrating because Sargon's already been milkshaked one more time, and he has some fucking lunatic communist try to pour horse shit on him. And some guy attacked him too, I believe. Some guy rushed him. Big Brother says, joined the Minnesota, is that what that is? National Guard after graduating a year from high school while I was working full-time because my parents were alcoholics, and there's nothing like home ownership to turn you boomer. Sure. I'm sorry to hear about your parents. Have a fishy stick. Assalamu alaikum, Louis, from the Islamic Republic of New Zealand. Oh, Jesus. Did I hear about the Christchurch call to action? Yes, I have. And I have so much going on that I don't really have time to cover it, but Jesus, dude, New Zealand, I'm sorry. Honestly, I'm sorry for where you live. You got to get rid of that prime minister, dude. Like, the thing is now, I don't know, like, people in New Zealand might be so cucked at this point, like, you might not be able to actually elect somebody that's not dangerous. Just put it like that. Like, I don't even care if it's like some, corporate cuck conservative. Like, at least they're not her. But I don't know, man. It's a small place, and it's a small population. And I don't know. I guarantee you're going to have revenge terror attacks in your country. I guarantee it happens in your country. That Muslims in your country are going to get radicalized because of what that guy did. It wasn't even New Zealand, Kiwi. He was Australian. They're going to get radicalized, and they're going to do some shit in your country. I guarantee it. Because that's what happened in Sri Lanka. Like, a bunch of Muslims got a reason to be violent, and boom, they went at it. And it's because, their mind is running on an operating system of violence. It's an ideology of violence. That's what Islam is. It's a totalitarian imperialistic style religion. It's not just a missionary religion. It is a totalitarian religion. And so when your mind is running on the programming of violence is acceptable in the name of Islam, if you get attacked, boom, you got your justification for violence. So it's going to happen in your country. People can say how fucking whatever about, oh no, in New Zealand they're all Majid Nawazes. Don't worry, Louis. Okay, sure. Almost had it. Says, sign your leftist friends up for Pinochet's helicopter tours today. Nicholas Von Neal says, by this logic, Robert Goodell, NFL commissioner, is part of the proletariat. Yeah, that's actually right. That's actually right, Nick. That's correct. Rogue Crusader says, Louis, you're not a boomer, you're a doomer. Always talked about how black-pilled you are in gaming. By the way, here is a list of fun Japanese games. Super Mario Brothers, Bayonetta 1 and 2, Devil May Cry 3, 4, and 5, Resident Evil 4. I think I played Resident Evil 4. God Hand, Super Smash Brothers, or maybe it was 5. I don't remember, etc. I have the new one, the remake on my wish list on Steam. Eventually, I'll buy it. Mitch says you're saying the head of a union is a broomer. Bazinski says gingers with a question mark. God Emperor says, now that I've referenced class by relation to means of production, so they're literally going to be only a binary. We see that the middle class does not exist. An actual yikes. I'm sorry, you're getting disavowed for that yikes. Iron Mike says, did you mow your lawn drinking a white monster? I did not. Patrick says, BuzzFeed just published a bunch of Proud Boys chat logs, makes them look not great. Also, read The New Right by Michael Malace. I think I've heard of that guy. I've not heard of the book. Yes, I have heard of this guy. He was on Joe Rogan. That's how I know of him. I don't know how much I know of him more than that. I don't really care what was said in the Proud Boys chat logs. There were like, I'm sure you could get them saying a bunch of stupid shit in chat logs. Who cares? Mute Gamer says, unless they're saying like, yeah, we joined the Proud Boys because we're like former KKK members and like this is the new shit or something like that, which I doubt. Mute Gamer says, ever think of getting Streamlabs for a bigger cut for you? Yeah, but I've seen people that have implemented that with much bigger channels than I do, and it seems like a pretty big hassle for not much really in return. Very few people actually use it that I'm aware of in our community, so to say. Sam Petre says, it was hilarious to watch Shapiro rough-handed by Stephen Harper on his own show. Yeah, actually, I had a bunch of people send me that. There's actually a couple Shapiro stuff that I've scripted out, but I haven't really covered. I don't know if I still have the email that I sent myself where I included a clip of that. Like I saved it. No, I deleted it. I guess that's not happening, guys. Sorry. I've talked about it a couple times before, but Stephen Harper was one. There was this chick that Shapiro spoke to. Oh my God, is this person advertising an app to me? Fuck off with your fucking app. Would you like to advertise our app on your channel? No. So I can become the next freaking group of people that got fucked, but like with what was the name of that app? Oh God, whatever that app was a while ago that like the Amazing Atheists and a bunch of other people got burned by. I have no interest in doing that kind of stuff. So okay, get away from my mailbox. I'm getting distracted by my own mailbox. I loathe Harper, but he is even successfully dabbed on strict libertarians. Yeah, I did watch that with Stephen Harper. I actually gained respect for him. I actually didn't like him a while ago, just from knowing some Canadian politics. I didn't like him. But I could tell you that I'd much prefer that Harper would go back compared to Justin Trudeau now. People can talk all the shit they want to about Donald Trump. Justin Trudeau is an international embarrassment for Canada. He is an international embarrassment. You know, it's amazing to me, all the people in Canada, they've come out of Canada that are completely functional people, but it's like you've elected somebody that is like, you keep re-electing him. How many terms are there in Canada? Why do you keep re-electing this freaking guy? He's been prime minister. Let me go look this up. It's felt like 10 years. Let me look. Let me look when this guy got elected. He's the Liberal Party of Canada. He's not a liberal. Yeah, fucking no, that was the assumed office in 2015. Dude, it's felt so much longer than that. It's felt so much longer than 2015. He is the biggest freaking cringe lord in politics, in international politics. I don't know if any other politician that, in my view, is more cringy than this guy. He is an international embarrassment for your country. And I have no idea why you've continued to keep him in office. Let's see here. Didn't he get reelected? Let me see here. I guess he couldn't have in that amount of time. Okay, under Stephen Harper, he was the opposition from 2008 to 2015. Okay, he became a leader of the Liberal Party in 2013. Federal election 2015. Wow, he gained a strong majority in 2015. November 2015, he was sworn in. When's the hell is the next election? So he actually hasn't run for re-election. I thought he did. Let me. I guess when is the next federal election in Canada? I say, like, yeah, I know Canadian politics, and now it's like I don't even know. Oh, it's this year. Fantastic. October 2019. Oh man. Yeah, fucking French party. I think honestly that's part of the one of the dumbest part of Canadian politics is your freaking shit with Quebec. Bloc Quebecos. Freaking Frenchmen, wannabe Frenchmen that the French don't actually respect at all. Yeah, current standings. Okay, so the Liberals have lost seats, but so have the Conservatives. Who the hell gained seats? Independent? Oh, okay, I guess independent seats are who gained. Max Burn. How do you say this guy's name? Maximum Burner? Is that how you say this guy's name? It's unfortunate that he only has a single seat, but he seems pretty woke compared to most other people. Created his own party. He resigned from the Conservative Party to start his own party. The name of the party is People's Party of Canada, which was announced on September 14, 2018. How do you say? Can someone explain to an American how you guys say this fucker's name? Maxim Burn. I don't even know how to say that. Maxim Burn Yay? Burn Yay? That's how you say that? Burn Yay? How is there a burn? Oh, is it French? Is that why? Is he French? Maxim? Maxime Bernier. He's got to be French. There's no way that's like English. He's from Quebec. He's been disavowed already. I hate Quebec. I have family in Quebec, and they can get nuked. Fuck them. Did you hear how he said nuked as well? They can go ahead and get nuked. I don't give a fuck about them. So it's the weird part of Ontario is that like people from Ontario, like they have like a really weird. They sound like they're from Milwaukee for whatever reason. I don't know what it is about that region. You got this guy, Maxime Bernier, running for the People's Party of Canada. So is this the next the longest record? It was 21 years. Okay, it's prime minister. So yeah, I guess yeah. Depending on the party, they can continue. They can perpetuate prime ministership. I don't know. I mean, I don't really know. Like, I haven't kept up on what's going on with the Liberal Party in Canada, but I can't imagine it's very good news. So how's Mr. Courtney, do you any Canucks in the chat? How what do you guys think about his odds in Canada, Mr. Bernier? Oh, he lost the Conservative leadership by 2%. So that's too bad for him. Somebody's shitting on Short Fat Taco in the chat. Fuck Quebec. Someone said in the chat. What was that? I had to approve it and it went away. What happened? Where'd it go? But at least they aren't far left cucks. I don't really know what Quebecy politics are other than we're different from the rest of you and that makes us special. Okay, everyone in the chat's like obsessing over his name. Do Canadian politicians want to start standing up to China? That sounds pretty racist to me. And I'll tell you one thing I know about Canada and even Ontario. Oh my fucking God, are there a lot of freaking Chinese people there? And I know this. I went on a dating app a while ago. And I like it expanded out, like you expand out to like how far you actually want to travel to meet somebody. And I included Toronto, like all of Ontario, the province. Oh my fucking God. It was like, it went from like white, black, Hispanic, white. Like, and then it was just like Chinese, like every fucking girl on the list was Chinese after I included Ontario. And I was like, whoa, like, God damn. There's a lot of single Chinese women in freaking Ontario province. And I don't know, it might be a bad idea. There might be spies, man. Because I swear to God, like every couple of weeks, there's a new Chinese spy story in the United States. I'm not even joking. Like every couple of weeks, there's a new story about a Chinese spy that was caught. So I don't know. I think China must have invaded freaking Ontario province in Canada because like literally every single woman there is Chinese. I don't know. Somebody said, mainly misheard, says that the merger has happened in Canada. I don't think it has. They're all fucking single. Oh, man. Canada has no secrets to steal. Good joke, Mike. That's hilarious. Anyways, it's taking me forever to get to these super chats. Yeah, the last one is Graham that says, sent some Canadian diversity news versus Twitter, via Twitter. news for me. A mother scolds.
They're looking into a disturbing video that appears to show a group of children attacking a grown woman in a park playground in the city. TV's
Okay.
Colin Thomas spoke to the person who shot the video at Pleasant Hill Park.
It was here at this park where the violent attack took place. The attack videotaped by a man who shared that video with CTV. He says it took place Monday night at 7 o'clock. The video shows 4 young boys punching and kicking the unidentified woman as she falls to the ground. The woman struggles to fight off her attackers while other boys stand around and watch. Listening to the video, you can...
That's a very diverse group of kids right there.
hear laughing in the background.
Man, they're kicking
Eventually,
the...
the boy-
Bro, they're kicking the shit out of here. I guess I'll put this on screen. Let me get rid of this. Does anyone want me to continue with this guy really quick in the chat? Does anyone give a shit if I continue with this guy? Does anyone care about this guy? The communist? Does anyone care? Put this in the chat. No? Fuck that guy. Okay, yeah. Okay, he's boring anyways. So here we go. Let me get this on screen.
As she falls to the ground, the woman struggles to fight off her attackers while other boys stand around and watch. Listening to the video, you can hear laughing in the background. Eventually, the boys stop the attack.
They're literally kicking the shit out of her.
The woman manages to get up slowly and starts to walk away. We don't know what kind of injuries she suffered, if any. The man who provided the video says the woman had been filming the boys who were throwing rocks at strangers. He says she told them to stop before she was attacked. The witness also telling CTV News he wants the video out there so something can be done to make the park safer.
Jesus
Now,
Christ.
they have identified the woman attacked in the video and an investigation is underway.
Well,
Colin Thomas, CTV News, South.
All I got to say about this video is that just as Justin Trudeau said, diversity is our strength. Diversity is our strength. And I want to hear everyone in the chat say it now so Susan Wojcicki doesn't censor my fucking channel. Everyone in the chat right now. Diversity is our strength. Diversity is our strength. Diversity is our strength. If we just say it enough and not think about anything, then it will be true. And we'll all be fine. I'll save this so I remember to link it below. So yeah, this is pretty bad. I know it's from Faith Goldie, and if I remember right, she's a little bit, I think either she's an advocate or an identitarian. I don't remember which. But yeah, there's definitely some diversity among the boys that literally kick the shit out of a woman. Okay, I think thankfully the chat is diverse enough that we all agree that diversity is our strength. And so Susan Wojcicki can back off. People kind. Oh my God. I can't believe that that's a fucking quote. Oh God. Let me check my likes. Actually, there were some more things on Twitter. Let me double check Twitter because I had a couple things, I think, other than this. Okay, that was it for the replies. Oh, by the way, I'll say it again just because I gotta remember to present you my own shit that I'm hawking. So be sure to stop on over at my store, which I gotta remember to link because I said I was gonna link it and I didn't. So I got to remember to link it. Stop on by my Teespring store and buy a Nick 2020 shirt, even though the last episode sucked. That really disappointed me, that the fact that this the last episode of Life is Strange 2 sucked. It's very unfortunate for me and my channel because I need it to be fucking good because that's what makes it entertaining. And by good, I mean terrible. Yeah, here it is. I forgot to link it, and I mentioned it earlier. What the fuck? Ah! Go away. It's forcing me to turn off my ad blocker. Hang on. Okay, there we go. So some guy in Preston who hurled a brick at Tommy Robinson's campaign van got a police caution, which is basically them saying, you know, wag the finger, don't do it again. I said he was a Muslim. I don't remember if it actually says that in here because they just say something, man. I mean, if you look at the crowd, there's a very good chance he was a Muslim. But, yeah, like, a guy is literally, he's hurling a weapon that could kill Tommy Robinson. I don't really know, like, if, like, it doesn't really take much blunt force trauma to severely injure you, especially if it hits you in the head. And so a brick is not a small object. It's not like he's throwing a bouncy ball at you or even a milkshake. He's throwing a piece, you know, a hunk of like of burnt clay at your head. So this guy absolutely should have been arrested. I'm not really sure what he'd be charged under for hurling a brick at someone. I'm not sure what the charge would be. It'd probably be a misdemeanor of some sort. But he should have been charged for this. If that brick would have hit him, you could have killed him. So, yeah, this isn't freaking nothing, okay? But this is the thing. It always escalates. It always escalates with these goddamn people. And it's why I condemn it. Like, I don't care. Like, some Remain fag the other day got water sprayed at him or something. Like, they threw a drink in his face. One, I mean, you're not a chick. Can I just say that? What kind of man throws a drink in another man's face? Like, that's the most limp-wristed shit I've ever heard of. Like, if you smack a beer bottle over a guy's head, okay, maybe I can understand. It's still gonna severely injure someone, but I can understand more than, like, going like, you offend me, in someone's face. Like, that's the queerest shit I've ever heard. Just saying. So I disavow I disavow one, doing political violence. Whether it's our side or the other, our side with Brexit, I'm not even. I mean, it does help the United States if the EU collapses. So yes, I do have an interest in it. But yeah, secondarily, throwing like water in somebody's face looks limp-wristed as shit. There's no manly way to throw a drink in someone's face. You look like a chick. This is a funny ass story from today. Or no, it's the 22nd? Oh, today's the 22nd. Jesus Christ. Just ignore me. Just ignore me, honestly. Chicago high school spends 50,000 taxpayer dollars cleaning up guns off the street, getting gangbangers off the street, hiring more cops to deal with their plaguing issue with violence and death and slaughter, bloodshed all over every block of their cesspit of a city. No, replacing a yearbook because some students did the okay hand sign. Literally, what happened here was that stock photos in the books had people doing the okay sign, so they replaced all of them, costing Chicago taxpayers $50,000. And I just like the subtitle, but the first line of the article, yes, really, from Paul Joseph Watson, who's like writing for 3 or 4 outlets at this point, in his own included. It's unbelievable. 1,750 copies. Where there were 18 stock photos. I think you should include stock photos because that's probably what they are. Despite officials noting that various races, ethnicities, genders, and grades, were pictured making the sign, and the obvious fact that they were playing the circle game, the gesture was treated as a symbol of white supremacy, and the yearbook must be replaced to avoid potentially subjecting our students to this trauma. Clown World in Chicago. I mean, people ask you, why, Louis, are you joining the Republican Party? Well, it's because I don't want to be the party of this. I don't want to be the party of this, of being living memes, that are a part of a hysterical moral panic around doing the okay sign. It really is just something else. And this is legit clown world politics right here. Yeah, I don't really know how much else I have to talk about, and I really have to wrap things up and go to bed. Because I got work in the morning. But let me see here. I don't know why this is open. Close that. Who is the hottest Asian right-winger? Well, I'm only aware of a couple. There's that one chick who I don't follow and I don't really remember the name of. There's a couple. I think everyone is going to think of Little Miss Hafu, who I'm blanking on at the moment for some reason. And I don't really follow much of her at all. She has like a talk show on CRTV or whatever the fuck it's called now, Blaze TV. Let me find her. Where is she? Where is she? Where is she? Where is she? Why am I not finding her? Did I stop following her? I don't remember not following her. I don't see her. Where is she? Oh, Lauren Chen. Lauren Chen. That's her name. She's one of the... She's a Hafu, though, so I don't know if she counts technically. But there's a few others as well, and people I'm sure can shout them out in the chat, because there's definitely are. Someone have to remind me, because I don't. Michelle Melkin is Asian, but she's a legit boomer. There's another young one. I don't remember her name what her name is though. But there's another, at least one more that I can think of. That's a Asian conservative. That's she's in the circle of oh, Kathy Zhu, is that it? Let me put that on Twitter. See if I find her. I don't know. Let me Google that. I don't know. I don't see her Twitter account. So I don't know. Yeah, I will say Lauren does Chen, I mean, she does wear a decent amount of makeup, I will say that. But there is a couple more, I just can't remember their names. Thanks for the support though, Patrick. You might have to name some yourself if you bring it up. Let's see if there's anything else that I gotta talk about. Mitch McConnell, for some reason, introduced a bill to raise the smoking age to 21, which I don't understand. Youth vaping is a public... I guess I'll show this as a Daily Caller article. I mean, it's just shit like this where it's like, yeah, okay, it is. Sure, yeah, people are smoking. Okay, when have they not been smoking? Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, a Democratic Virginia Senator Tim McCain, introduced a bill Monday to raise the federal minimum wage for purchasing tobacco products to 21. We're in the middle of a national health epidemic, McConnell said in a speech on the Senate floor, according to Fox News. Youth vaping is a public health crisis. The bill, called the Tobacco-Free Youth Act, would raise the age to buy e-cigarettes as well. Legislation comes after the Food and Drug Administration waged war on teen e-cigarettes use under the direction of ex-Commissioner Scott Gottlieb, who called the issue an epidemic. How the fuck are middle schoolers getting access to e-cigarettes? $3.6 million Oh my God. Oh man. Oh man. There's people gambling, there's people playing the lotto, there's people smoking cigarettes. Oh my God, I'm drinking a beer right now. Oh no. Oh, what a world, what a world. I obviously don't agree with this. I don't understand why I, of all people, need to flack for the tobacco companies. But it's like, just why must you interfere? Why must you interfere with somebody making a mistake? Why must you interfere with somebody that is, not, I don't even know, like, they might be a social smoker. Not every smoker is an addict. I smoke off and on, and I have never considered myself to be an addict. It's usually, a week and a half, I'll smoke a pack of cigarettes, and then for a week and a half or maybe a month or so, I won't smoke at all. And then I'll buy another pack of cigarettes and smoke for that week and a half. I get that people can be legitimately addicted to cigarettes and have a serious problem quitting them, especially if it's like a real habit where it's just something they do as like a tick, that sort of deal. Like, I can understand how difficult it would be. It's same people like who are addicted to eating and that sort of thing. But I don't really believe that it's the government's job to legislate this when it's like everything around them is like, they're penalized by the taxes for tobacco. They're penalized by the fact that their company has to send them outside to smoke in the winter. They're penalized with the social stigma of smoking because like 75% of women find smoking to be gross and the other 25% smoke. There is a clear stigma at this point against smoking. And yet people still smoke. So why must the government intervene to raise, like, you can go fight and die for a freaking war that has no meaning other than enriching somebody like Mitch McConnell, but you can't even smoke a cigarette. This is the kind of thing that I have to put this is the kind of thing that I'm putting in proportion, but also needs to be put into proportion. You can go fight and die for your country, but you shouldn't be able to smoke. Where are your priorities? Where are your priorities in this? Is it good for you? No. Neither is drinking. Neither is gambling. Neither is any of the other fucking things that we legislate against. But ultimately, it's just a person's choice. No one's forcing you to play the lottery. No one's forcing you to go to a casino. No one's forcing you to smoke. No one's forcing you to drink. No one's forcing you to eat junk food. No one's forcing you to drink a big gulp, drink too much pop, drink too much beer. No one's forcing you to consume anything that you don't choose to consume. So why, for the love of God, do you need to do this? Create a campaign where you virtue signal against being, where you're against smoking. Go virtue signal about being against tobacco. That's fantastic. You and 10 million other people are constantly virtue signaling at any given time about tobacco not being good for you. And yet people chew tobacco or dip, as they say, or they smoke, whether it's, cigarillos, cigars, cigarettes, just tobacco itself. They roll it, they smoke it out of a pipe. It's hashish or whatever the fuck they smoke out of, whatever gimmicky shit that came from India. Why must you legislate against something that people are just going to naturally do? Why? A 12-year-old can be tried as an adult, but can't step outside for a smoke during a court recess. Yeah, that's right, Brandon. Or Brendan, rather. That's correct. Yeah, and that's my line. Nicolo? Is it Nicolo? I don't know why. It feels late. Nicolo says, ban everything, restrict everything. That's my line. That's my line. That, to me, is the assessment of authoritarians. Just ban everything. I have no idea what to do legislatively. Ban everything. We're not gonna restrict immigration access. We're not gonna build a wall. We're not gonna do this. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do all the things we promised us. Raise the smoking rate the smoking age to 21 for no fucking reason. Because children. There's too many children smoking. Nicolo. Okay. Somebody says I even give a couple homeless people some cigarettes. I wouldn't. I had some homeless person come up to me today and ask me for $1, and I said no. I said I didn't have any cash on me as an excuse because I didn't want her to like freaking punch my window or do something crazy. Because with homeless people, you never know. So I still said no because I don't give fucking homeless people, goddamn thing. This reminds me of the anti-smoking campaign from the Nazis. That is true. The Nazis were anti-tobacco. Let's see if there's anything else that I can cover. There's there's an article from Brendan O'Neill, who's I think he's either the owner or a senior editor or a chief editor. He plays some sort of primary role at Spiked. And he's very much a voice of reason. He's very much a liberal. I'm not really sure how he would identify himself, but from what I've listened to him, he very much appears to be a principled liberal. And for those that don't know, I'm pretty sure Anna Soberry was the woman that got called a Nazi and just everyone flipped the fuck out over it for no reason. You know, they fedora tipped because she's a woman, female politician. And is she the leader of Cuck? Let me click on this real quick. Is she the leader of Cuck? Let's see here. What's her name again? Anna? Yeah, let me see here. Change UK MP Anna Salisbury mistakenly first announced in the Commons. Yeah, they actually had the previous name TIG, whatever it was, the independent group, and they call them Tiggers for short, which I liked because it has that double meaning of we're the Tiggers, which is a catchy name because of Tigger, the tiger. But also you just replace that T with an N and it gets even funnier. But then they changed their name to Cuck, which you couldn't make up. It's just the funniest fucking thing in the world. When I first saw that, I laughed so fucking hard. And they're basically like the ultra pro Remain group. As far as I'm aware of their politics, like I don't really know if they stand for anything outside of we want to be part of like the socialist protectionist bloc that is the European Union and fuck national sovereignty in the UK. We want to be French, something like that, or German. But they instead of using the independent group, which is a decent name, it's not a terrible name. They switched their name to Change UK, which is abbreviated to Cuck. Oh man, that is such a fucking funny name. But anyways, getting back to the Spiked article. Let me make sure. Okay, I saved it already. Brendan O'Neill writes, would it be okay for someone to throw a milkshake at Anna Salisbury or Sueberry? After all, she has devoted herself to overthrowing the largest act of democracy in UK history. She's also voted for the bombing in Libya. Wow, I disagree with that, in 2011. So she was a Clintonite. Wow. Yeah, that's honestly one of the worst mistakes of the Obama presidency, honestly. And it was when Clinton was freaking Secretary of State. She was a goddamn disaster. Which destabilized entire swaths of Northern Africa and caused untold suffering. Yes, it did. Does such anti-democracy and imperialism deserve a milkshake? What about Emily Thornberry, another anti-democrat and cheerleader for the destruction of Libya? Can she be milkshaked? Ed Miliband, who is, I believe, the former leader of the Labour Party. After all, he once stood for an office on anti-immigration platform. Am I right about that? Is Ed Miliband the former? Let me look at that up real quick. Why doesn't it say his party? Yeah, he was the former leader of the Labour Party. Yeah, in opposition, I guess. After all, he once stood in blah blah. And for Tommy Robinson, a couple weeks ago to Nigel Farage today, it isn't people who are supposedly iffy on immigrants who get milkshaked. Fear not, I am not planning on throwing a milkshake at any of those people because I'm not a child. I also think nobody else should throw a milkshake at them. If you disagree with a politician, let them know, send them a letter, write them an email, discourage people from voting for their parties, sure. No need to do that in Mrs. Suberry's case. Of course, she's planning, since nobody's planning to vote for her party. But there's a point here. Who gets to decide who we are allowed to milkshake? If the throwing of milkshakes come to be viewed as acceptable political behavior, isn't it possible all sorts of politicians will end up being strawberry ice cream with strawberry ice cream on their faces? If you want to grasp the extraordinary double standards in the great and mad milkshake debate, try to imagine what the response would be if Emily Thornberry had been milkshaked. Do you think memes would be made? Do you think Burger King would hint at milkshaking politicians as a good idea, as they did a couple of days ago? And they did. I saw people claiming that they didn't, and I can actually prove that to be true. And Tim Pool, of all people, actually caught the same likes that I did. They didn't like him. They liked several tweets and then unliked them later. One of the tweets was equating Burger King to Antifa, and they liked that tweet. And that was one of several tweets they liked where they directly made reference to milkshaking Tommy Robinson. That is an endorsement of political violence from a corporation. And they unliked those comments. They only left one where they endorsed the milkshaking of Tommy Robinson. But yeah, Tim Pool saw that and I saw that, but I didn't capture it though. I didn't get it. I didn't take an image of that. But I saw it. So did he. A couple days ago in the milkshaking Tommy Robinson, Carl Benjamin, do you think the Guardian journalists and Momentum, which is the commie block of labor, army of middle-class tweeters will be making jokes about it? Of course not. It would be denounced as violence against women. It would be held up as proof of the violent climate whipped up by the anti-Corbyn media. There will be a clamor for the arrest and imprisonment of the milkshake thrower. Sure. We know this for a fact because earlier this year, a man was jailed for a month for throwing an egg at Jeremy Corbyn. The man was denounced by the people who make up the party's pro-milkshaking lobby as a fascist, a danger, a scumbag who deserved the fate of the full force of the law. That we live in a country in which someone who eggs Corbyn can be jailed for a month, while someone who milkshakes Nigel Farage can be a meme hero, deserves an explanation. What it speaks to is a chattering class that is now so cut off, confused, and panicked about its inability to connect with ordinary people that it is effectively greenlighting assaults on politicians it dislikes. That's the best way to see those numerous milkshaking incidents, not an instinctive form of protest, but as acts of public humiliation green-lighted by the media elite. I agree. There is a direct relationship between the cheering and memeing of milkshaking incidents and the continuation of milkshaking incidents. In celebration, these milkshake throwers, everyone from newspaper columnists to woke corporations, are effectively saying, carry on. Carry on assaulting these people. It's cool. These people, though, are candidates for standing in democratic elections. It is a bit off to effectively agitate for the physical humiliation of electoral candidates. If you denounce the egging of Corbyn as an act of a neo-fascist but cheered the milkshaking of Farage as a wonderful protest, then not only are you staggering hypocrite, but you absolutely have no right to complain if the next person to be pelted in public is someone you like or even yourself. And I absolutely agree here with Brendan O'Neill. He's exactly right. I think, honestly, what it's going to take is for, Anna Soubry or Jeremy Corbyn or somebody on the left, somebody that's part of CUC or the Liberal Democrats or just the general socialist left in the United Kingdom, for them to get, really brutally hit with a milkshake. They get fucking hit, right in the face with one, including the cup. Something where it is an actual physical attack, and they get just freaking beamed by it. Or someone comes, and this would be my idea to how to get it to stop. Get Jeremy Corbyn sitting down or one of these politicians sitting down, come up behind them with a water cooler like you see on sports teams, with those water coolers with the spigot at the bottom, the big top. You just pour a water cooler over them of milkshake. Just totally freaking douse them in milkshake. And I guarantee you the next day that guy will be regarded as a terrorist, and then people will be condemning it. It's only by holding these people to their own standard that they actually distance themselves, at least for that moment in time, from their own standards. Let's see here. Axie says, do you think you have a chance with someone like Lauren Southern? I don't think so. I don't think so. Is she even single? I know that that friend of hers is dating that white identitarian guy. I don't know if she's single or not, but I don't think I have a chance. And if there's any conservative hottie, and I've been sending in DMs to Raging Buffalo, a subscriber of mine who I communicate with regularly on Twitter. I've been sending him for a while now posts by Tommy Lauren. If there's anyone that I consider to be attractive, and I call her because of her body type, and you can see this most prominently where she wears this sleeveless and like what would it be called, shoulderless dress on the Daily Show. It was when she had that interview. This might have been a few years ago. I know Sargon covered it, but Tommy Lauren went on the Daily Show with a South African douchebag and laid waste to him. And ever since then, when I saw her in that outfit, I've been calling her as a nickname Lolicon, because she has the body type of a loli and she's a conservative. So I think that's a pretty clever nickname. And so that's my nickname for her. So if there's any, it wasn't a sundress. If there's any conservative that I would hit on, it might be Lawrence, or it might be Lawrence Southern, but it would probably be Tommy Lauren. But the question is, would I have a chance? I don't know. I don't know, man. They're a little bit too much upper class now, and you got that whatever that biological component is. I don't think I'd be able to meet the bill, you know. Because Subject to Change said conservative women are a joke. I don't agree. I don't agree that conservative women are a joke. There's some pretty freaking woke conservative women out there. So I don't agree with that. I disavow, sir. She does. She's my age. She has a body of a loli. What can I say? Jack O'Neill sending me a super chat. What I like to have is see, she does. Go watch that video. Go watch that interview from the Daily Show. She does. Oh man. All right. Is there anything else before I end this? Before we end this stream, because I got to go to bed and get up for work. I'll actually check the chat. Oh man. I know Gab people hate her. Why? She got fired from the Blaze for being pro-choice. I remember that. Is there nothing else? Is everyone giving up? Did that last comment ruin this? Is this stream dead? Am I still live? Hello? Hello? Did I kill this off with that comment? I think I might have. Oh, man. I think I've been disavowed from my own audience. I don't like this. I don't like. I don't care. I don't care. I'm gonna call her by that nickname, and I don't give a goddamn what any of you think. I disavow all of you. Fuck the fans. You know, where's that Keemstar video? I'm saying it right now. I'm quoting Keemstar. Let me get this up.
I think it's funny. I've been laughing the last hour that your mom died of cancer. I don't give a fuck about any of you. I am in this for your money and your money only. That's all I care about. All right? I only do this show for money. That's it. All right? I don't do it to entertain people. That's just a fucking scam. I don't give a fuck about any of you. I really hope you die of cancer. I hate every single one of you. Fuck the fans. No sarcasm. No joking. Fuck the fans. Thank you.
Oh my god. I don't know why that's so funny. I don't
think there's a
know.
lot of
I mean,
debate.
like, he was playing a character in this, as far as I understand. But like, this is where it comes from, because people do have like legit moments like this. People legit have moments like this. Oh, there was apparently an interview with Milo Yiannopoulos on Channel 4. Wow.
Just before we came on air, I spoke to
Hold on. When the fuck was this? Oh, this is from 2016. Fuck it. Nah. I thought that was from like today. Let's continue on.
Is he joking? Is he being sarcastic or whatever? Of course I'm joking. You know what I mean? Like, cancer is a horrible thing. But it's not horrible enough. What I really mean is I hope you get cancer, and I hope you fucking live the last fucking month of your life every single day gasping for a breath of air and living with the worst, horrible fucking pain of your life. For the last fucking time. Fuck the fans.
I endorse that statement for everyone today. Well, you know what's amazing to me, as always, is that, like, I still say subscribe to me on Subscribestar and that sort of thing. But even financially now on YouTube, I'm still, like, even right now, I'm doing better than ever before. And it's like, honestly, I don't even know if I'm producing things that are even worth a shit. Simple Jeremy says, stream with Martina Markota, who is the goth conservative, and talk lolies. I'm pretty sure it, like, I don't really know how aware she is about, like, anime. Like, people who don't understand anime are probably going to consider that to be just straight up child porn. Like, they will just legit not understand it. And it's because of shit like they're going to think that, like, I'm into, like, Desmond and shit. Like, you know, drag kids and stuff like that. Because there's such a stink around all of it at this point. So I've reached out to people to talk to me, and none of them ever get back to me. They always say, "Oh, don't worry, you know, oh, we'll set it up, Louis," and then boom, they just disappear off the face of the earth. So yeah, I really doubt. Like, is that some sort of troll post? Like, why should I? Simple Jeremy, shout it out in the chat. Why should I speak to her about lolis? Spell it out for me, Simple Jeremy. I'm waiting. Stream's waiting. We're all waiting. Explain yourself. I don't know. Too much time is passing. Martina is a conservative pundit who's into, like, goth shit, like glam shit, stuff like that. I see her name floating around like every couple days. Yeah, the chat's waiting. I've already disavowed the chat. I've already said fuck the fans, and now the fans are just waiting for your answer. Check Twitter? Why? What the fuck? Where did you get this picture from? It's fucking, it's Bolsonaro is so crazy, dude. Look at this. Look at this shit. Is that photoshopped? Like, what the fuck? Where is that photoshopped? Is this Simple Jeremy says she made her own comic. I bet she knows Animu. I don't know, man. That's real? Is there a video of it? He's got good. No, don't condemn him. He's got control over the trigger. Look at that. Finger is exactly where it should be. He's pointing. We don't know if he's pointing it at somebody though, and there's probably is a round in the chamber. There probably is a round in the chamber. Oh man. Bolsonaro is the craziest motherfucker on earth, dude. I can't imagine that anyone running against him would have been anywhere near as good as him. Just for the point of just like international attention and recognition and that sort of thing, is it like this ultimate Chad ex-military leader who's like running around with like a fucking pistol tucked in his waistband and like just taking it out and pointing it around and shit. He's not as crazy. He's not, although Duterte, somebody brought him up earlier in the chat. Duterte's kind of freaking crazy. I've talked about him and praised him in the past, but he's pretty freaking crazy. I don't think Bolsonaro's crazy. She runs an art stream. I mean, I guess I could. I mean, I don't really know how we would connect. I guess I could send her something and she could be like all the others and ignore me. Subject to change says, have I seen the video of black students getting jumped by Mexican gang members in Long Beach? Black should remember that this is our country too. Don't you mean their country too? What do you mean by that, subject to change? That last part. Mexican gang members that got jumping in Long Beach. That. Oh, okay, you're black. Okay. Okay, I get you. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You know, the thing is, though, I know a few black people in Buffalo, and the thing is that I've never known blacks to especially get along with Hispanics. You know, there's like racial relationships, you know, friendly relationships, obviously, and even dating and that sort of thing. But yeah, it seems to me that like they still bump heads against each other because there's obvious cultural differences outside of just like the racial, you know, animus and that sort of thing. there's some black pill comments in the chat here. Blacks got run out of Southern California by Mexican gangs in the 90s. Compton is no longer a black neighborhood. Well, I don't know if anywhere in freaking California is still a black neighborhood. I think all of California, outside of the freaking, you know, the areas where they grow shit in the middle of nowhere, the sticks, you know, all of that's like Mexican territory at this point. What's my opinion on Ted Kaczynski? He's a terrorist. I'm not sure. I mean, he had like reasonably decent explanations about why the federal government was doing wrong, but in reaction to that, instead of campaigning or doing something, he became an autist and started bombing shit. I don't really think that that's proportional. It's like what I say about like the Christchurch shooter or anybody else. It's like there's many things that you can do to actually affect politics in your country. And burning out, going crazy, and killing a bunch of people isn't the way that you solve anything. You know, Ted Kaczynski may have had actual explanations for why he, not necessarily why he did what he did, but what was his worldview. He could reasonably explain that, but his actions as a direct response to that were completely freaking crazy. So I can't, it's like, I've already said it, you know, I don't need to repeat myself, but if you have a problem with the way that America is going, there's many avenues by which that you can affect politics and policy. Bombing people is the exact opposite way. Like, if you want to get in a situation that makes you the bad guy, basically go up against the state directly where you use violence. You know, shoot a cop, you know, shoot a law enforcement officer, and you become the enemy. You become the terrorist. And that just destroys any credibility you may have in arguing what points you may have. You know, terrorism is never the response. Terrorism is never how you actually deal with politics, unless you want to discredit yourself. I will agree, subject to change, that this media does cut out. Once upon a time, the media cut off those avenues off. But the fact is that I think even with Sargon, even if he winds up losing, because I think he is still technically polling second, so there is a decent chance that he could lose. Not necessarily definite, because the polls are definitely skewed. But even if he loses, you think he's going to be the only, like, woke YouTuber or, you know, woke liberal or, you know, part of the new right, what have you, that's going to run for office? You know, there are very many people that are coming up in Gen Z that are definitely woke to the problems that we are in. And I'm not sure what the percentage necessarily is. It may not even be very high, but they seem very active. And my advice for all of us would not to be to endorse black pilled reaction to things, like just laugh at everything, sit on a stream all day and do nothing. And I understand it's somewhat hypocritical, but I have a fucking exhausting day job. But more or less just pretend as though that nothing can be done, and that, you know, oh, well, if you really want to get something done, you know, walk outside with an AR-15 and blow a bunch of innocent people away. Like, that's never going to solve anything. All you do is give fertile ground to our opposition to paint us all as lunatic terrorists and to use the state against us. The people that listen, dude, you're incorrect about the media. The media is the boomers. They're the only generation that actually believe the media. Millennials don't believe the media. Even Gen X, I don't even think, believe the media that much. And even still, like, I honestly don't think that the way that things are headed, that people are they're going to swallow what the media is selling them anymore. I think it's just a matter of time. So I disagree with you. I understand where you're coming from there, subject, but I disagree. Do I think Tommy Robinson has a chance? It depends. I mean, Tommy Robinson, out of all people, like, he is that, what, Emmanuel Goldstein, whatever it was, from 1984. Like, he is a legitimately targeted person by the state in the United Kingdom. Like, the government itself wants to kill him, and they're trying in the ways that they can to facilitate that. And he is legitimately hated by the public for seemingly no reason outside of, you know, you're telling us about the rape gang. Shut up, Tommy. Shut up about the rape gangs. Like, that seems to be the gist of why he's hated, is that he's out there telling the truth about Muslims. He could win because he has insanely high name recognition, but he could also lose because of the animus against him. So it's the two sides of fame, is everyone knows your name, which is near the top of politics of what helps you. That's near the top. And the downside is he is hated just beyond reason, irrationally hated by millions, potentially, in the United Kingdom. Millions. He has strong support among the working class, dude. Dude, watch him just show up in public. Yeah, he has a bunch of working class dudes come up and shake his hand, and a woman comes up and hugs him and kisses him on the cheek and that sort of thing. Dude, there are middle class people that just want to kill him. You know? And it's not like you have like a super small Muslim population in your country. He's running in the north, though, where most of his supporters are. Well, I'm not saying he doesn't have a chance. I'm just telling you what the issue is. High name recognition, also a lot of controversy, and there's a hard group against him that fucking hates him and want him to die. Have a fishy stick about Ted Kaczynski. Like I said, I'm not saying that a terrorist can't have a reasoned position in terms of their worldview. But I am simply saying that if he wanted to actually execute on what he think would have helped everyone, the United States, whatever, he wouldn't have done what he did. Terrorism is never the answer. You never win anything through terrorism. You know, even with the Muslims, it's like, that's the justification for like people hating Muslims, is that like, well, they know that terrorism wins. And it's like terrorism only wins up until you have, you know, Salvini in power, or the guy that runs Poland in power, or the guy that's in charge of Hungary, like, or Trump. Terrorism only works up until you basically get the people that are elected to power to get rid of you or suppress you. And even with Trump, you know, if terrorism started up in the United States with Muslims, if they started going crazy like they are in the United Kingdom, where they're chopping soldiers' heads off in the street and raping little girls and stuff, the crazy shit that's going on in the UK, like in the United States, eventually you're going to get somebody that makes Trump look like freaking, you know, not even Obama, not even Bernie Sanders. Like, who would be even a comparison? John McCain. No, Meghan McCain. Maybe like Meghan McCain. Like, it would be a joke. You know, terrorism only emboldens their enemies. It only solidifies the opposition. Jimmy Carter was an incompetent president, but I mean, like, Jimmy Carter's done a lot of good, though, when he's been out of office. I don't really think you can shit too much on Jimmy Carter. He's volunteered, like, pretty much all of his time. He stays out of politics for the most part and volunteers his time, even as a decrepit old man. So I have a hard time shitting on Jimmy Carter, even though he was an incompetent president. Remember that the BNP, the British National Party, Nick Griffin, which has a literal fascist party, managed to gain a seat in the EU back in 2009, and Tommy Robinson is much, much less extreme than Nick Griffin. So, yeah, well, as far as I know, though, didn't Nick Griffin and the BNP hide their beliefs for a long time until they finally came out? John McCain's tumor. Everyone in the chat, I'm going to call them out by name. You might not be... I'll see. Press T for thanks for. I'll give him a shout out in the chat. Everyone press T for Toronto Master, who is now following me. He's now subscribed to me on Subscribestar, and he's been very generous with me, and I very much appreciate that. So everyone send a quick thanks to Toronto Master in the chat. T for time to leave. That's how it goes in my streams. All right, thank you for the chat. Subject to change. Tell you what, subject to change. If you're listening to this, message me on Twitter with that video if you wouldn't mind. Message me that video that you're talking about, those black kids getting beat up in Long Beach by some Mexicans. Oh, no. Stop with is that Niccolo again? It's always Niccolo. Niccolo's always starting with N. Stop the N's. God Emperor says, hey, about to head over to Subscribestar to subscribe. Thank you, God Emperor Oni-chan. I tried so many times to mention the topic, but Google won't let me post it so F. That's all I can say here. Well, tweet it to me then. I won't be able to get to it tonight because we're despite Niccolo, would you stop? I'm over here trying to talk and you're freaking distracting me with your ends and your despites. Oh man. But thank you, God Emperoni Chan. I appreciate the support. All right. I guess we'll end this on just a photo of let me find that photo of Bolsonaro. Bolsonaro gun in waistband. If I can't find it, I'll have to look it up on my Twitter account. Cause I had here it is. It's got a meme picture of him. I don't want the meme picture. I want the original. Where's the original? I keep finding the meme. Oh, Jesus. What is this? New photo? New footage? The new footage shows Brazil school gunman pull out a firearm, start shooting his victims before his accomplice hacks the fallen with a machete. There was a school shooting. When was this? March 2019. School shooting in Brazil. Well, that's very tragic to hear about. Oh, Jesus, they got footage of it? Oh, my God. Oh, jeez. Yeah, and I'm not going to show this because I don't want to get my shit banned, but guess what? He's not a jock. Apparently, this was in Suzano, Brazil, which is near São Paulo. And guess what? The guy that did the shooting is not a jock. He looks like a fucking soy boy faggot burnout. But he's dead, I believe. So that's good, I think. Let me see if I can just do gun. I'm probably going to have to find it. I guess it doesn't really matter. There's a bunch of photos of him shooting different guns. Like, here's one right here. I'm not even sure what this is. Let me open up the photo in a new tab. Show you. Move to this photo. Bolsonaro shooting some sort of small, like, submachine gun. I know there's one of him shooting a rifle. Where's that one? Oh, here's that one. This one, I don't think he actually has good trigger control on this one. And this one either. So I'll right here. It looks like he's obviously posing, but he's got his finger on the trigger, and that's no good. It's no good, Bolsonaro. Disavowed Bolsonaro. It's not how you wield a weapon in a confined space. There's another one where he's close up with some sort of modified rifle in his hands that almost looks like a fake gun. Right here. Right here. Here's that photo. There's so many freaking photos of him carrying rifles. That one's a crazy one. Again, as well, with his finger on the trigger, I disavow. Oh, man. I type in Bolsonaro and waistband, and it comes up with that school shooting. Here it is. Found it. So this is going to be the photo that we end the stream on. Somebody said that this was me at age 40. It might just be. Oh man. Oh man. This to me is the best fucking photo of Bolsonaro. This to me is the best photo of Bolsonaro. This is the funniest one. Oh man, freaking! It's so ghetto too. He's like sitting like super like low down on a couch. I think this is when he was in Washington as well. Sitting super low on a couch, wearing a polo and windbreaker, dad jeans, and he's just got a pistol tucked in his fucking waistband. Oh man, and he's playing on his smartphone. That's the best part too. He's playing on his smartphone. He's got his glasses like sort of like half on and off. Oh man, yeah, Bolsonaro should liberate Canada. All right, press L for Bolsonaro to liberate Canada. I spell Bolsonaro right? Hold on. I want to make sure I spell Bolsonaro right. Bolsonaro. Did I spell? Oh, nope. I didn't spell it right. A-R-O. Bolsonaro. There we go. A lot of L's in that chat. A lot of L's in the chat right now. I don't know, man. I don't know, Canada. You might just have, it might require it. You do have natural gas, but we got plenty of that in the United States now. And Canada does have some oil, though, but I don't know if it's really enough to justify any kind of action. Is there any kind of like resources in Canada that aren't like natural gas and oil? They got any like rare minerals? I know they have like abandoned mines full of garbage. Do they have any kind of rare minerals in Canada? Nuke Ottawa. Oh man, we already got oil. We're in the middle of an oil boom. Frenchman, that's not a resource. Plutonium. Oh, that's right. That's right. Well, is it uranium? Isn't one of the largest deposits of uranium in Canada? Let me look this up. I think that's true, that one of the largest deposits of uranium in the world is in Canada. Let's see. I'm on the Wikipedia page now. Let me see if we can find it. Where deposits. Is it not? Fucking Wikipedia, useless. Largest deposits of uranium. Number 1 is Australia. I'll keep that in mind. Number 2 is Kazakhstan. Number 3 is Russia. Number 4 is Canada. Well, I have to say that's interesting. Now, if I'm not, unfamiliar, I believe I am. I believe Canada does have weapons of mass destruction. I believe we have intelligence to say that. And if that's the case, I don't know, there might be a threat. Do we have to wait? They have the largest deposits of uranium, the 4th largest. Are we going to wait until the sign of evidence is a mushroom cloud? Are we going to wait till that? No. I'm telling you, we have to take action, and let's not have the United States do it. We've made our mistakes in history, okay? I'm just saying that we should consider if Brazil needs to take up arms against Canada and liberate the Canadians from Justin Trudeau, who's a socialist dictator. Mushroom crowd is lead Weagle. It might be. Yes, that's right. Old Eric is right. The absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. They have the 4th largest deposits of uranium in the world. Are we going to wait? And they're right above us. They can access us all the way from the east to the west coast. The entire nation could be crippled by an attack from Canada. Are we going to wait and let that happen? And I'm not saying we do anything. I think the United States should play a supplementary role to the Brazilians. Let them liberate the Canadians from Justin Trudeau, socialist dictator and son of Fidel Castro. It's not a laughing matter. The Americans already control Tim Hortons. Burger King bought him out. No, dude, advocating neocon propaganda is not going to get you taken off YouTube. I might get like an NBC show. Anyways, I've been going for way too long. I said I should end this like half an hour ago, if not longer. Oh man, the chat. It's getting me. Patrick says, I almost missed this. Gavin McInnes starts his new website June 1st. Well, that's good. I'm glad that he's back. It'll be good to have him back. Add the NBC logo next stream. That's hilarious. Oh man. All right. Well, I'm gonna end the stream because I gotta go to bed. But I will say before I go, keep your collar popped, and we shouldn't wait until the evidence of an attack or of their aggression against us comes in the form of a mushroom cloud, and that the absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. So we should be allying with Bolsonaro to liberate Canada from Justin Trudeau. So yeah, have a good night, everybody. Yeah, that's right, Nick 2020. And I'll talk to you guys in the near future. Thanks for listening. Be sure to support me. Follow me on Facebook, Gab, Twitter. So I'm banned off all of them. Subscribe to me on Subscribestar because that's the hot new shit. Everyone's doing it, and I appreciate that. Follow me on YouTube, this channel, my secondary channel, and buy my Nick 2020 shirt, which I can showcase once again right here. I'll link it. I'll remember this time to link it. So be sure to head on over to my Teespring store and buy yourself a Nick 2020 shirt. All right, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for everyone that donated in a super chat. And I should have some more content in the near future, but I got a lot of stuff going on. So it's going to take some time. All right. Thank you.